driving and they're talking still. Plus, I'm like blacking out slightly. Every like so often, it feels like for a split second, I'm like I blacked out, or I'm dizzy, or my eyes can't focus. The voices themselves are torture, and then it sounds like it's someone is sitting there as they're like hitting these keys or hitting keys that cause me this like distortion in my head. That's coupled up with sounds or words in different voices, but behind that is like someone owning that they're the ones that are sending these signals to my brain. Sounds like Egyptian American terrorists, okay? Terrorists talking in my head, and the men are sitting behind these computers, telepathy computers. This is what it sounds like. And the women are encouraging it, of course. And I mean, they're the source, they're the root of all this evil. And it's obvious, like no one ever visits these piece of shits in their house where they're doing this, where they're conducting these um, quote unquote investigations. They're such fucking liars. They're murdering people, they're trafficking them, they're framing people to use these telepathy weapons or whatever. What sounds like telepathy weapons. The voices are in my head. I've been diagnosed schizophrenic. So, with that aside, this is what it sounds like. I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. So on the medical front, I've been diagnosed schizophrenia or schizophrenic, and I have all the symptoms, or it's the characteristics of that align with schizophrenia. Now, from a personal experience, and I'm telling you, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like someone hacked into your head or had permissions to use a very sophisticated weapon to hack into your head and and um, and they're sitting there trying to like find a way to manipulate the records that are held whenever someone conducts an investigation using these type of surveillance. And anyways, it's obvious that while these men are quote unquote investigating, the women are no one. They don't invite anyone into their homes because the investigations are confidential, quote unquote. Um, and why wouldn't they be if they're committing crimes using them, right? And then at the same time, uh, I mean, like it's obvious the women are there. They use these voice changers, but it's like families. They're husbands and wives and their older adult children, sitting in a house, and they're all screaming into this computer. Someone has to cook and clean for these piece of shits. So it's obvious. It's like 100% obvious. There are both what sounds like men and women involved. This is what it sounds like, okay? I'm just explaining simply that this is what is going on in my head and what it feels like, what it sounds like, what they're saying sounds suspicious and weird, why I have this sense of paranoia, and and what's going on. But it's 100%, I'm not denying at all that it's in my head. That is a fact. There's no one else can hear them. I put my phone down, recorded, and I post it just to get feedback, see if anybody else hears anything. God forbid if ever anything happens at all. I've said that I have a hard time hearing, so it's for safety measures. It's just, it is for slightly because of my paranoia, making sure that if in fact they are using telepathy surveillance technologies, then in fact the people screaming in my head are the ones that are going to be convicted and sentenced to death. That they're not manipulating circumstances, or they're not doing anything weird, or by coincidence there's something that happens in my surrounding that is completely unrelated, but somehow it sounds like I don't want to seem negligent on any front. So this is just how I'm handling it. And obviously if it's outside and more than one, then the whole neighborhood should have heard and should have reported it. So it's not to say that I was individually the only one that that heard them, and it's coming from outside, quote unquote, is what they're saying. They're trying to is the premise of what they're trying to disguise, or not the premise, but the way they're trying to disguise them talking in my head. But like I said, I'm in a neighborhood. So many people could have heard. So many people could have reported. So it's not me isolated that will be charged. Assuming they were to say, if this was real, if what I was hearing was real, assuming these people were to say, oh, Renee was a part of this possible, or Renee possibly was a part of this act of terrorism or murder or whatever, or she, whatever the case is, criminal activity, then where was I going with this? To say that I'm a part of this criminal activity and I was negligent and didn't report it. Again, this is if they were to say that, this is how I'm covering it up. That's exactly what it sounds like. Is what it's that exactly. It's that they want to make it sound like I'm being negligent. So I'm just making it clear how negligent I'm not. And yeah, and that's really it. And furthermore, the voices are they're slightly scary, but I have to go. My sister just showed up.